All right, Stay Spiritual team, James and Justin, back again with another reaction. We're diving into the request bin. We've been doing a lot of that this week. The channel that we were reacting to is called the Recital. This is going to be a Quran recitation, I think, because this video is titled A Conversation Between Jesus and Allah. I'm not too sure what to expect. From what I've seen in the first minute, it's just the recitation with the English translation on the screen. So we're going to take a look at it. I guess it's verses 109 to verses 120 of Surah Al-Ma'idah. I don't know if I said that right. Hopefully I did. And yeah, we'll take a peek and extract what we find. All right.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم يوم يجمع الله الرسل فيقول ماذا أجبتم قالوا لا علم لنا إنك أنت علام الغيوب يوم يجمع الله الرسل فيقول ماذا أجبتم قالوا لا علم لنا إنك أنت علام الغيوب إذ قال الله يا عيسى ابن مريم اذكر نعمتي عليك وعلى والدتك إذ أيدتك بروح القدس تكلم الناس في المهد وكهلا وإذ علمتك الكتاب والحكمة والتوراة والإنجيل وإذ تخلق من الطين كهيئة الطير بإذني فتنفخ فيها فتكون طيرا بإذني وتبرئ الأكمه والأبرص بإذني وإذ تخرج الموتى بإذني وإذ كففت بني إسرائيل عنك إذ جئتهم بالبينات فقال الذين كفروا منهم إن هذا إلا سحر مبين وإذ أوحيت إلى الحواريين أن آمنوا بي وبرسولي قالوا آمنا واشهد بأننا مسلمون إذ قال الحواريون يا عيسى ابن مريم هل يستطيع ربك أن ينزل علينا مائدة من السماء.
All right. The first thing that I was kind of thinking about when I was watching this is that I was trying to imagine Christians watching this, because I know when I was a part of like kind of Christianity and a part of the whole thing, anytime we heard the name of Jesus mentioned in other scriptures, there was like a triggering effect. And like, you can't mention Jesus because Jesus is the only Jesus that I know is the one that's depicted in my book, right? And because there are Gnostic Gospels, it's not just the Quran. There are other places where Jesus is mentioned, but it's always looked at as like not really counts. It doesn't count. So I'm curious why people would were very adamant about us reacting to this one. Maybe it is because we have some type of a Christian background inside of us that we were kind of like, and we haven't really got into the whole thing yet. But yeah, it is interesting to note Jesus mentioned in the Quran.
I was like so pleased to find that the first time I saw that. Yeah. I was in a library and I picked up a Quran and I was like, let me just take a look through this thing. And then I found Jesus and I was like, this is amazing. I went and told as many Christians as I could find.
Yeah.
That didn't bother me.
I was very biased. I was like, well, it can't be actually legit because it's not in the book that I deem as the most authentic.
The first time I saw, I could say anything sort of what you're talking about is when I was a kid and Marilyn Manson would be interviewed. Remember that?
Yeah.
On Much Music and stuff like that. And he would say, like, it's sensible now. But at the time, as a Christian during that time, I was always a little like, I didn't know what to make of it because he would be like, he would talk highly about Jesus. Yeah. But then he would sort of criticize But he would be like, I'm all kinds of things. I'm like a Christian. I'm into voodoo. I'm into, he wouldn't say he's a Christian, but he would say he's into whatever he said. I can't remember. Yeah. And at the time I was just like, whoa, like my brain couldn't compute.
Yeah.
How those things don't go together? I guess that's extra evil? I don't know. I don't remember what I thought.
Yeah.
But in hindsight, now I watch those old interviews and I'm like, he was a genius.
Yeah.
He was a genius in some of the stuff he said.
That's what usually happens with things that we don't understand or we judge or we just don't know, so we like throw it in the like evil basket. I don't get it, so it must be evil then. But anyway, we'll continue on with this. See where it goes.
قال اتقوا الله إن كنتم مؤمنين قالوا نريد أن نأكل منها وتطمئن قلوبنا ونعلم أن قد صدقتنا ونكون عليها من الشاهدين قال عيسى ابن مريم اللهم ربنا أنزل علينا مائدة من السماء تكون لنا عيدا لأولنا وآخرنا وآية منك وارزقنا وأنت خير الرازقين قال الله إني منزلها عليكم فمن يكفر بعد منكم فإني أعذبه عذابا لا أعذبه أحدا من العالمين وإذ قال الله يا عيسى ابن مريم أأنت قلت للناس اتخذوني وأمي إلهين من دون الله قال سبحانك ما يكون لي أن أقول ما ليس لي بحق إن كنت قلته فقد علمته تعلم ما في نفسي ولا أعلم ما في نفسك إنك أنت علام الغيوب ما قلت لهم إلا ما أمرتني به أن اعبدوا الله ربي وربكم وكنت عليهم شهيدا ما دمت فيهم فلما توفيتني كنت أنت الرقيب علي وأنت على كل شيء شهيد إن تعذبهم فإنهم عبادك إن تعذبهم فإنهم عبادك وإن تغفر لهم فإنك أنت العزيز الحكيم قال الله هذا يوم ينفع الصادقين صدقهم لهم جنات تجري من تحتها الأنهار خالدين فيها أبدا رضي الله عنهم ورضوا عنه ذلك الفوز العظيم لله ملك السماوات والأرض وما فيهن وهو على كل شيء قدير.
Why do I find it awkward when it's like a blazing audio of a man crying his heart out? You know, I couldn't see him, right? And it's just it's like I'm like, oh, this feels awkward. but like I get it. I feel like there's more here beyond just the words. It's the environment, it's the culture, it's the history. It's like everything involved coming through here. A lot of it that I don't understand. I was trying to put together the message there between Jesus and Allah, and it just seemed like, because there wasn't a lot of Jesus talk. It was more like, I think Jesus asked with his disciples for something and Allah provided. It was then, anyone who doesn't believe beyond this, there will be punishment. And that was like reiterated.
And by the way, I was only laughing at your describing of your awkwardness. Like, thank you for being so honest with the people watching this. You know what I mean? That can be a little nerve-wracking to be transparent that way. But it was funny to me that you said that you felt awkward by that, because I understand those feelings and not really knowing what to do with the feelings. You know, in some sense, I'm like, should I let myself? Because sometimes you have a gauge. You know, you can be like, should I let myself empathize to the point where I'm now, you know, like part of this and moved with it? But I was trying to stay sort of grounded there and like a little bit compartmentalized. I'm like, well, what's going on here? And I wanted to ask you what you think of it when you see somebody on all the levels pertinent to what we're talking about here, with all your being. What feeling arises when you see somebody that's talking about like the truthful ones will be justified? When somebody with that much emotion is saying it, tells me that like in their living life they don't feel day-to-day justified. It feels like I'm going to maintain my faith and this is going to work out in the end if I just be truthful.
Yeah.
I know plenty of people that aren't very truth-oriented, that are people that love things, care about life, but they're like, that just ain't how my life rolls. You know what I mean? Day to day, I got to like be a little loose with the truth.
Yeah.
And you know me, I'm a truth weirdo. I believe in truth a lot. But I wanted to say something about that. Like, in my experience, how it often works out is that it's not a matter of like one day I'll be justified, in my opinion. I don't think it's like a matter of one day I'll either be punished or one day I'll be justified. You're punished and justified right now. In the moment, it arises now. There's a lot of people that don't want to listen to sound doctrine that talks about like, you got to stop lying. They're like, that's just unreasonable. Everyone's got to lie. Stop telling me that stuff. You know, fine, whatever. Okay. I'm actually struggling around with your truthfulness there. And that's just one aspect. There's people that are like, it just doesn't, maybe in your world you cannot be addicted to a million different things. That's not me. I gotta be. But I feel like it's awareness growing in your walk with Allah or spirituality. It's a revealing that you want to do these things not out of a suppression or not out of a discipline, but you want to do these things because you recognize what works and you recognize what doesn't work. You know, you recognize your interconnectedness to everybody else over time. And then you're like, why would I shoot myself in the foot? Why would I do that? Over time, it's natural to me, to be honest, because I don't want the fruits that come from lying.
Yeah.
I know those fruits. I don't have to wait for an afterlife to see what happens with that.
Yeah.
If I apply enough consciousness, I see it play out in real life. I want better fruits.
Yeah.
But that's what came to my mind when the guy was getting emotional, was that sometimes there's this sense of like, I will be justified one day. And that's what keeps me going, my hope and my faith that it'll pay off one day. And I say, why shortchange yourself? Have it pay off in this moment. by being content knowing you are 100% authentic. It's only when there's like a discrepancy inside. It's only when there's like a battle of it would be so easy for me to just lie like you and get everything you have, but I'm going to hold the truth and you should be frightened at how truthful I am. You know, I've like been that guy.
Yeah.
You know, and it's kind of ugly and embarrassing in the end. Just do what you know to do. Do what you know is right, and understand everybody's allowed to do what they're going to do.
Yeah. Well, here we are. You know, we're reacting to something that was requested by our audience out there a few times, and that's why we took a look at it. But here's maybe a nut, like from our side, coming back to you guys on the other side of the screen, is that when I watch something like that, when I watch anyone get emotional over something that they're deeply passionate and it's a way, it's like my brain instantly goes to the people that I see who get emotional over the thing that they believe that contradicts or is different. Like, I've seen people in the same boat. Like, do we not see that all over the world, people, regardless of their creeds and what they believe, they get as moved as you are? Like, are we really going to make a fight to say, well, we were more sincere and more moved by our thing, which makes that our thing's the right thing, right?
That's why we cover everything on this channel.
Yeah, I know.
That's why we've literally reacted to
like,
Christian worship ceremonies where the guy's on his knees, prostrate, like can't get low enough to the ground, and wakes up like praising the heck out of God, you know, tears.
It just kind of, that's the thing that kind of like comes to my mind when I'm watching this. And I was like, and it's not to say that, you know, stop doing what you're doing.
That's not what we're saying.
It's just to say, just see it. Just see it.
It's cathartic. Sometimes it can be cathartic to cry. Sometimes it can be cathartic to have an emotional release.
Yeah, and things like that can also just being able to see all these perspectives can help you to see things differently. That's all. But anyway, we spent a while on this one. Hopefully you guys liked our reaction to it. If you did, don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, share this with a friend, and everyone, until next time,
Stay spiritual.